heroism. It's the pursuit of two ideals, excellence and a higher purpose. This noble mission is not just found in Hollywood. It's a game changer for businesses devoted to it. Almost all business owners launch their company to make a difference in the world around them. Join us on the Heroic Experience as we talk with business owners, senior leaders, and established entrepreneurs so that you too can elevate your business to heroic success. Now, here's your host, John D. Hanson.
Welcome back to another episode of the Heroic Experience. We are so grateful to be sponsored by Kaufman Media. Digital signage, what is it? You need to check out their website and find out it's way more than you think. It's not just a television screen mounted on the wall. It's way more than that. Check out their website at kaufmanmedia.com. That's spelled COFFMAN media.com. I am so happy to have Mark Thomas, literally half of Mark and Shelly Photography, as my guest in studio. And by the way, if you're hearing clicks in the background, that is the shutter of Mark's camera. So don't think that it's an audio glitch or something. It's him doing his craft while we're having a conversation. I met Mark a couple years ago, and I was just so impressed with not only the quality of his work, but I was really impressed with how he did his business, how he built relationships. So we are so happy to have you as a guest on our show, Mark, and we always start the first segment with share with us a couple of those wow stories of clients that may have never even heard of you before.
Right.
They have you in, and they're like, oh, we are so glad we worked with Mark and Shelly.
Yeah, I've had the incredible pleasure of working with so many different people, entrepreneurs, influencers, small businesses, and building my own brand and also developing our direction. And you're looking for some great stories. And one came to mind literally this morning when I was having coffee with my wife. There's actually a donut store down the street from my house, and I called up the owner. And I've been going there for years. I knew the owner real well, knew his wife, and I said, I would love to be able to come in and photograph your donut store. And he goes, man, Mark, he goes, perfect timing. We're opening a new one, and I need some photographs. I said, hey, Jordan, can I come down and take a look around and see what kind of equipment I might need, get to know everybody. That's one of many things that Shelly and I like to do to get to know our clients. To jump ahead a little bit, I told him, I said, we're going to take some amazing pictures of your donuts if I don't eat all of them. But
right.
We're going to get some great pictures. But as I talked to the owner, I realized it was bigger than that. And I said to him, I go, what time in the morning do you come in here? I know nothing about donuts other than I pick them up in a bag and go. Yeah. He goes, we're here at midnight.
What?
So out of a 24-hour day, he goes, somebody's not here 6 hours out of that 24-hour day. They have the prep crew that comes in and does all the chocolates, the selling crew, the cleanup crew. It's all these rotational people, and they're passionate about what they do.
Wow.
So I said, okay, this is what I see. It's not about your donuts.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take some great images of them.
Sure.
But I said, the story is how you make the donuts.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm going to come in at midnight. Could you tell your staff I want to get myself introduced and be part of their world? And I probably hung around a good hour before I even pulled out a camera, was setting up some lights, because everything was dark, and they were very time-oriented. And so we get some amazing – I ended up leaving 10 o'clock that morning. I got there at midnight.
10 hours.
10 hours. That's what it took to tell the story. And so we ended up putting their I called it a campaign together, and I put out about 5 images on my Facebook, tagged them. They put it out on their Facebook. Mm-hmm. The owner calls me up a day or two later, and oh, by the way, we named the photo shoot called "Who Put the Hole in the Donut." So he called me up. He goes, Mark, he goes, I got 10,000 hits.
Wow.
From those images, and we started realizing, this is a few years ago. Yeah. We started realizing the power of photography, amazing photography. Just not, it's got to be good, and then. The story.
The story, yeah.
Absolutely. And that was the beginning of where we started. And it was just one of these, I have no idea. I wanted to do it. It happened, and it was just the right direction. So
wow. Well, we'll get to this in the third segment, but I still want you to say it in the first. So people are like, these amazing shots. I'd love to see what these look like. Where are some places they can go to see them?
Our Facebook page, every day we're posting new images, and that's our Mark and Shelly Photography Facebook page. We're on LinkedIn, under Mark Thomas. And we have our, and I'll get that information to our .com. Everything's markandshelleyphotography.com or Mark and Shelly Photography Facebook. So kind of
Gotcha.
keep it real generic and all that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And some of the shots you've had, some of the venues, my gosh, 20-something thousand feet in the air.
Yep.
Multiple times.
Yep. Yep.
What's been like the coolest? Is that it, or have there been some others that were even just as cool?
Every time I think they couldn't get any better,
Right.
I end up getting a phone call from two husband and wife teams that love to model. They dress up, they play the parts, and we came up with this idea that I said, hey, I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, but they have ambassador wolves, real 99% real wolves. Wolves. And I said, let me call them up because they permit people to be around them for model shoots. Let me see if we can get a wolf out on a location. So I spoke to them, and they go, absolutely, Mark, we can do that for you. So and they were booked solid for 4 months. So we had to wait 4 months.
Wow.
And we met them at a metro park. But so all the models one's dressed up in a wedding dress, one's dressed up as a Viking, the other's dressed up as an Indian. The van pulls up, a real wolf jumps out, huge. And they go, Mark, come on over. You're going to be the closest. We want to introduce you to Kanda. And Canda's smelling me, and I'm petting her. And I said, it's okay to pet her. We want you to pet her. We want to get to know her. And it's not like petting a dog. It's a different type of fur. And she's sniffing me, and they go, Mark, do you have any cats? She loves cats. I go, I got like 2, but I mean, does she love cats or does she love cats?
Right.
So you look at these images. We went out in the woods, and Kanda, the wolf, would start tracking a walker or a jogger, and then we would bring the model in because she would just be keeping an eye on until they left, and then somebody else would come by. But she'd get bored with one of the models, come over, give me licks, loving, and for 2 hours I got to pet this wolf. And there was only 2 rules. They said, don't put your arms around her and hold her. And the other was, if she takes something from you, let her have it. We'll get it back. Okay. But that was one of the really, really super cool experiences I've had with, especially because I'm such an animal lover, but to be with a real wolf.
Oh, yeah.
And I this might have been a one lifetime opportunity. I think I shot 1,200 images in 2 hours.
Of course.
I just kept the camera going.
Yeah, right.
It was great.
And you and I are old enough to remember the old days, right?
Right.
Polaroid or older, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, you're old enough to be in that bridge generation of what it was like before and what digital technology is like now, of what you can capture with one camera.
Well, it's amazing.
And the images.
I thought I really was one of the last holdouts on 35 millimeter, and we started going toward the video. Or to the digital afterwards.
Yeah.
That's the way you go with it. So,
wow. Just the things you can capture that way.
absolutely.
My gosh. Well, like I say at every show, 9 minutes, it just flies. And then once you get to hear the stories, because stories are so compelling, and then your stories in particular are fascinating. I just have enjoyed this conversation. We're only 1/3 of the way through. We still have 2 more segments. So you need to join us back after the break, because we're going to talk with Mark. We're going to hear about his story, his and Shelly's story. They're going to go back and share that journey with us, because he didn't arrive here starting yesterday. It goes farther back than that. If you want to hear more of the heroic experience, you can find it on our website, accrev.com. You can find it on Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts, on our YouTube channel, Accelerated Revenue, on Amazon Music. However you like to listen, tune in for more and join us back after the break as we talk more with Mark Thomas.
Inspire, influence, and connect your audience with digital signage. Kaufman Media offers customizable digital signage solutions designed to meet your company's specific goals. Whether you need digital menu boards for your quick service restaurant, digital displays for marketing in your retail stores, or wayfinding and unified communications for your schools, your corporations, or your healthcare facility, our customizable, affordable options and proven experience make us the only partner you'll need for your next digital signage project. Visit kaufmanmedia.com today to learn more. That's COFFMAN media.com.
Would you buy a car from a dealer without a test drive first? For your business, a consulting partner is even more important. Accelerated Revenue is excited to announce the Take Us for a Test Drive event. Receive 2 exclusive workshops on customer experience and winning culture, a customized culture snapshot, and a leadership strategy session worth over $10,000, all in for just $2,500. Best of all, when you onboard our consulting team, we'll credit you the entire $2,500. Spots are limited, so visit our website today at accrev.com/test drive.
Check out John's worldwide selling book, Wow Your Customers, 7 Ways to World-Class Service on Amazon. Now, once again, here's John.
Welcome back to The Heroic Experience, where we are proudly sponsored by Kaufman Media. Check out their digital signage solutions and far more on their website, kaufmanmedia.com. That's spelled COFFMAN media.com. Happy to have Mark Thomas, who is literally half of Mark and Shelly Photography, as our guest in studio. And just as a reminder, if you joined in the episode here, if you hear clicks in the background, that's Mark actually working his craft. He is taking photos as we have this conversation. So it's not an audio glitch. It's him doing his thing that he does best. So this part of the show, Mark, is probably the one I enjoy the most. While wow stories are just wow for what they've done for clients, what I really like hearing from our guests is their story, their journey. So go back as far as you'd like. We'd like to hear kind of where it started for you and what got you here today.
Right. A lot of thought went into this, and I've had a camera in my hand almost my entire life.
Really?
But and I do a ton of scuba diving. A lot of people don't do. I do a lot of scuba diving. But I was in a scuba diving accident back in 1995. That when I came to him, I was in a helicopter. I was being medvaced out. I was taking what's called a DCS hit, a decompression sickness hit.
Wow.
I was exploring a deep underwater cave system in northern Florida. But what ended up happening from 1995, it slowed me down. I couldn't do anything for many, many months.
Wow.
But I started seeing the world a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And you start appreciating things. So, I honestly believe everything happens for a reason. And
yes.
I'm going to jump forward a little bit because you know of this man, but we had a chance meeting. My wife, Shelly, had a chance meeting with a guy named Carrie Overbrunner. And Carrie, there was no reason for Carrie to be there. She works for a bank, and Carrie could have gone to any branch.
Sure.
But long story short, my wife calls me up. She goes, Mark, I met this guy named Carrie. He wants to. He's amazing. We're going to do a whiteboard meeting with him. And this and that. And I'm going, right. Who's Carrie and what's a whiteboard? One of those deals.
Right.
So I started watching a little bit of Carrie's message. And we met with him. We did a 4-hour whiteboard, and
wow.
it was an amazing time. I literally went out humming out of this. I couldn't believe all that was going on. And I got in the car and I said, Carrie has no idea, but I'm going to be his personal photographer. I knew nothing about branding, marketing, entrepreneurs. I never heard the word influencer or all these other things that ever popped up in my head. They were just passing conversations. So I started showing up at these fellowship meetings that Carrie had, and I asked for permission. I said, Carrie, I hear you have this meeting. Can I bring my camera? And he paused, and he goes, yeah, go ahead. So I started giving him my content, my images after the shoots, and I kept showing up. I never missed a meeting.
Right.
And about 4 months into this, Carrie goes, Mark, he goes, our business is growing because of you. And I said, you're going to have to explain this to me. He goes, your images are drawing people in. This was the beginning of what I do for marketing and dealing with clients. And I was still developing our niche. And both Shelly and I, and we're doing this. And Carrie said, hey, we've got a big conference coming up. And he goes, I see that you only bought one ticket. And I said, yeah, that's, I was unemployed at that point. My job had come and gone. I was struggling learning about the business of photography, but
right.
I'm learning so much from Carrie. And he goes, Mark, I'm giving you back your money, bumping you both up to VIP. You're coming in. I want you to photograph my event. That's the first time anybody trusted us to photograph at a huge event. Yeah. And it developed from there. And I started meeting all these amazing stories, amazing people.
Yeah, right.
And we started finding our niche of what we really enjoyed doing and making a difference in helping people, getting their images to them and getting their story. We did a photo shoot. I love talking about this up at Shawshank. Well, I call it Shawshank. It's a prison up in Mansfield.
Right.
So we had 30 or 40 entrepreneurs. We were going to do photo shoots inside these 6 by 8 foot cells. And we just, the lighting was amazing. We had 4 strobes and it was hot down there and all that. So we ended up setting up all these amazing shoots. And the 13 people that signed up for it, the part of their story, their journey, that cell meant something to them. And it could have been a missed loved one or a tragic happening or whatever it may have been. It being there made sense. So we ended up supplying some crazy images of just, because we would meet with these authors who were authors and entrepreneurs, and we go, give me a minute of what your book's about. Tell me what tears you apart. And then we would get in there and literally transform them into giving this, that they just didn't sit there and look at us. I needed to feel I need to understand what they're feeling so I can actually photograph it.
Yeah.
So we spent an hour. Everybody got their 15 minutes and then some. I always over deliver on that. It's one of our things. But we just got there, and they're using them. These people are using these images to stop the scroll, so people read their messages, and that was really it went full circle. Now I know why we're doing it and why we want to be doing it and why we're so passionate about doing it. So, it literally started, again, from an accident, which, I didn't know what to do, to meeting the right people at the right time. And then, more importantly, knowing that I met the right people at the right time.
Yes.
Right. I could have easily not, when I called Carrie to set up the 4-hour whiteboard, you wouldn't believe how many times I picked up the phone, put it down, picked up the phone, put it down.
Really?
Because I stalled. I couldn't, I couldn't see past it. And something pushed me into it, which was great. So it worked out for me.
Yeah. I appreciate this, and I think it's the journey that people hear. And if there's one common element, it's that I truly believe, and I think our guest would say the same, that there's no such thing in life as coincidence. And has that been true in your life, Mark?
Everything happens for a reason. I mean, I look back, how I met my wife, how we partner up. We're partners in crime and partner in business, and we both complement. Everybody's got a superpower. And it's interesting because I was talking to somebody the other day. They were trying to do everything, and I said, if your superpower is writing, your superpower is podcast, your superpower is photography. I said, you put all those superpowers together, all of a sudden you have this music group called the Beatles. And, it was meant to be. I mean, those guys, you look at that kind of, it was meant to happen.
Yes.
So, I love being around the right people, and then, everybody can complement one another. There's no competition.
Yes.
You get what you need to do, we put it together, and that formula's worked all the time for us.
Reminds me of Dan Sullivan's book, Who Not How.
Yep.
If you feel like you're stuck, you've got a great idea, you really need to be looking at, all right, you know what you're good at, you know what you're skilled at. What you really need to be looking at is who is the next person I need to add so that I can take this to the next level. Because I can't grow beyond myself if it's just myself.
Right. I've met Dan. Dan's a neat guy. I've met Dan.
Yeah, that book, I read that in, I think it was last year. It may have been 2020. I've read quite a few in the past year and a half. And that was one book that really spoke to me, that just the title of it on my bookshelf reminds me, with the goals that I have, I'm never going to achieve those goals by myself. So who do I need to be looking for to be including in my life? And I can't think of a more personal, intimate way of connecting with someone than being able to share their story through photography. So when we come back, last break, this segment flew. Fascinating stories. When we come back, we want to hear how they can get a hold of you, what you do best, your differentiators in the space, what are some of the things that you've got going on, events, all the ways that they can tap into that artistic ability that I enjoy seeing. So join us back after the break. We're going to hear from Mark Thomas on how you can see how he's different in the space.
Did you know that 70% of U.S. residents 12 and older recall seeing digital signage in the past week? Digital signage provides a 35% reduction in perceived wait time with a 30% increase in a customer's in-store browsing time. Kaufman Media offers customizable digital signage solutions designed to meet your company's specific goals. Christina said,
We love our digital signage. The software is easy to use and we can publish content in minutes. It allows for every department to be seen and have a voice.
Visit kaufmanmedia.com today to learn more. That's COFFMAN media.com.
Attention event planners. Is your company or association planning a conference, seminar, or staff retreat? Are you looking for fresh ideas on high-demand topics like customer experience, leadership, empathy, customer service, earning and keeping trust, and more? Then you need to book John D. Hansen as your next speaker. Brooke said,
Great presentation. John's concepts help shift my thinking. A good fit for my life right now.
read more testimonials, discover John's full list of speaking topics, check out pricing and more on our website, accrev.com/keynote.
Would you like to be a guest on the Heroic Experience? Contact us at john.hansen@accrev.com. Now, once again, here's John.
Welcome back to the Heroic Experience. We are so grateful to be sponsored by Kaufman Media. Digital signage, it's far more than you think, and you're seeing it every single day, perhaps without even realizing it. Check out their website, kaufmanmedia.com. That's spelled COFFMAN media.com to learn more. Mark Thomas is our guest. He is literally the half of Mark and Shelly Photography. And we're not going to say we're better or otherwise, but simply half of Mark and Shelly Photography. It's a great, they work so well together. I've seen it in action in person. And this is the segment where we're really going to dive into, Mark, differentiators.
Right.
There's lots of people that take photos out there. There's lots of people that take action photos. I think there's even people that are really skilled at it. But I think you talked about this in the first segment, branding. Nope. Not just being aware of your personal brand,
right,
but the people you're capturing in these images. How important is that? And is that one of the key differentiators you think in your unique value add proposition?
Absolutely. There's so many photographers, especially with cell phones out there.
Oh, right.
Everybody's an expert. so we have to be a little bit different. You know, Shelly and I, we're probably our worst critics than anybody. We're done with a photo shoot. We go, how can we make this better? How can we make it more efficient? What can we do to make this for the client? So, that being said, when we sit down and look at everything, we have to envision what the customer needs and what the customer wants. So that's the difference between us. We're going to come out and talk to them, make sure that we have everybody's clear up on what they want, the location, whatever it takes to get the photo shoot done. If it's a 10-hour photo shoot or a 2-hour photo shoot, we do offer packages and all that, but like I said, everybody out there is doing the same thing. So
right.
So we have to up it. The images have to be absolutely hands down amazing. And that didn't come overnight. We end up we still study photography. I tell people up front, we still, I hope I never stop learning the skill of photography.
Yes.
We can always up our game with all that. We do, everything from the branding, the marketing, event photography. We even do our wedding photography, but we treat them all the same. The events and everything is all the same. We need as much information as possible to give what the client wants.
Right.
So.
Right. It's not just you're going to an event like, this is our wedding can. We open the can, and this is what everybody gets. It's not canned photography. It's not canned food.
Right.
It's like a chef creating a meal. You really want to know, well, what's the theme?
Right.
What are you trying to accomplish with these photos? Is it just stamping time, or is there a theme behind this? Is there a reason? Is there an inspiration behind this? Is there some story, subplot we can be capturing as we're taking photos?
Right. So
much more to it than just angles and lighting and poses.
Well, I'll pick on our event photography. It's getting to know the client. One of the most amazing images you can get is somebody on the stage with a microphone talking to dozens and hundreds of people.
Right.
Those are worth gold to that person.
Yes.
And when we show up, we make sure we know everybody. Where can we stand? Where we can't stand. And 9 times out of 10 is we can go anywhere we want to.
Yes.
We're there to provide good content for that client. So, a lot of pre-information is, we get up front so we can help them out. It's the right equipment, the right lenses. I literally, when we show up, not numbers, we bring a big dollar amount of equipment with us.
Right.
Low light, zoom lenses, everything else.
I've seen the equipment you bring in on a wheeled cart, and it's impressive.
Yeah, and it's just being there and making sure that we're ready 24/7 all the time for them. So it's, they're number one when we're photographing everybody. So we'll sit down with the client, and if it's a custom photo shoot, we design it to make it work for them. And if we have to make some adjustments, we make adjustments with them and all that. But it's been, like I said, Shelly and I are our worst critics. We're gonna make it right the first time for everybody and all that. So absolutely.
Sure. Now, the best ways to contact, there's so many ways.
Yep.
You've got a website.
And this is what it's easy to remember. Everything's Mark and Shelly Photography. And so markandshelleyphotography.com, or if it's Facebook, Mark and Shelly Photography on our Facebook. We post daily good content.
Yep.
I think we may be one of the few photographers, when we show up an image like when I'm photographing you today, John,
right,
we will promote your business. And in the photographs I give you, I want you to take them and promote your business.
Right.
Use your business. You're doing me a favor.
It's free advertising.
Absolutely.
But it's done in such a way where it's absolutely win-win.
Yep.
It's absolutely win-win. One thing I wanted to ask, and this might seem like a no-brainer, but for someone, particularly if you're a speaker, where you want to be adding value to others, I think there is nothing more effective in getting the message out with photos in particular, because when you're capturing them, the audience is also watching you capture them. So you're indirectly advertising to the crowd, because there's probably also other speakers, business owners in the crowd that are thinking, well, who's this person walking all around taking all these shots?
Right.
Does that help drive business for you as well?
Absolutely. I've been in some huge venues before where you're a photographer, let's say, and the other speakers go, oh, I should have brought a photographer, or they'll ask me, can you stay and take images and all that. It's an afterthought. And cell phones, as amazing they are, don't cut it. Not at the degree that we want to be at.
Not the professional ones. You're going to need to polish your brand to the point and present it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Plus, we have the mindset, the skill to know where to be versus just somebody randomly taking pictures.
Right.
You want to stop somebody and look at something. Just imagine, every time you've been in an airport or a dentist's office, you pick up a magazine, and what stops you is, okay, what's that photograph? What's the article about? It is just like that. I hate to say it, you go to McDonald's, you see the menu. Oh, that hamburger looks good. You order it. The imagery is so important. It really is.
That's right. Because you mentioned McDonald's, so let's go down that road, right? So on the commercials, man, and you learn all the staging tricks, right?
Yep.
Because then when you open the box, it's like, that's sort of underwhelming. That doesn't match the picture on the board or what I saw in the commercial. So if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, public speaker, and someone they get a professional headshot as their first impression, but then everything else they see on social media is like selfie quality, and there's nothing wrong with selfies for candid shots. But if that's the bulk of your media, then your brand doesn't match the same level of professionalism as your headshot, as what you're saying you can do.
Right.
And so when I first started out in social media, so 6 years ago, I had no connections whatsoever, none. And I thought, I love LinkedIn. I learned about the platform. I was new to B2B sales. I thought, this is going to be a way I can really help leverage the opportunity. Right. But I'm not going to do a selfie shot. I'm not going to do the rear view mirror. This is the first impression people are getting. So I deliberately went out and got a professional photographer to do the headshot. And I get compliments all the time because it was done so well. That's their first impression.
Absolutely.
I like how you start with a great first impression, and then you just keep building on that because now they've got a brand.
Absolutely. Like I said, Shelly and I have a 30-day package we put together. So you have 30-day content. Every day you can put a new image out. And what we're going to do for you, John, is that you're going to get that package. So I'm going to give you 30 images of you doing what you do, and you're very authentic. You get the microphone. This is you. This doesn't make any sense of you being at the zoo in front of the elephants. It's what you do. So that's what we deal with. You're very authentic. You're working. You're not that smile at the camera, cardboard look, and all that. And the images I've been pulling off look amazing on you.
Well, thank you for that. So if you have any questions whatsoever, you're based in Columbus, Ohio.
Absolutely.
But where have you traveled to? Like, what's your range?
Oh, we'll go anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we literally had 3 jobs in 3 different states in September and October, so we'll go.
The reason I asked Mark that question is because if you're listening to this, it's not just Columbus, Ohio. It's not even just Ohio. They can take this kind of quality to you, and the value you're going to get for your company brand, your personal brand, and the value you mentioned, over deliver. What you're going to get in return will far exceed what you invest in. So I highly recommend visiting their website, checking out their Facebook page, finding Mark Thomas on LinkedIn, however you like to find them. Look at their content and contact Mark, because you are going to get way more value We are here to elevate your business to heroic success. Join us back on the next episode of The Heroic Experience.
This has been the Heroic Experience. To learn how your business can be profitable and heroic, visit ACCREV.com. For access to free weekly content, subscribe to the Accelerated Revenue YouTube channel and follow John D. Hanson on LinkedIn. To listen to archived shows, find them on the Accelerated Revenue website under the Resources tab, ACCREV.com.